All right, first and foremost, let's got first admin out of the way. For those who are just coming on here and have not been to any of our sessions yet, we just literally opened the door. So you're going to have to give us a little time here as we build this community. We're probably going to have another half dozen guys joining us here over the next couple of days. My goal is to make sure that we continue this process of growth, but I don't just want to put anybody in here. All right, I don't want to just put people in here for the hell of putting people. I just want to be able to have a good community of like-minded individuals who can, not only have tremendous topics to discuss, but be able to share with each other experiences, learning protocols, and of course, we're going to have live coaching sessions and more of that training for the Blitz Academy. Now, if you guys have not read my book, some of you have, I know, some of you have not. The Redefining the 21st Century Man. That is a book that I would highly recommend. It talks about the Blitz mentality. It talks about the Blitz mindset, and this is where this entire Blitz Academy came to be, right from the Blitz mentality, which in essence, when we talk about the Blitzkrieg method, we're talking specifically about a method where it's going all in 100%, and there's no plan B. There is absolutely no retreating. We're full bore, and we're fully committed. Now, this is going to be focused more on a business perspective. Okay, and every training session, it's going to be geared to a specific subject. And today, we're going to be gearing to a subject that was that we talked about last training session, but I think it needs to be even touched on a little bit more, because there was a lot of good questions on the last session, and there was good input from individuals. In this particular session, we're going to talk about command presence. Okay, your presence in your work environment, your presence when you are attempting to build a business, your presence basically going into a boardroom and activating that sense of confidence and that mentality of really winning over your could be a potential client, making a deal happen, or for that matter, even scaling your company. Because a lot of times when we are scaling companies, one of the things that we miss out on is we tend to drop the ball on remembering that when we first started our company, we were out there, we were grinding, we were pushing, but somehow a lot of times what I find is that when men are scaling their company, and they've been in the grind for a while, they kind of take a back seat to everything. And should not happen when you are scaling a company. As a matter of fact, when you are scaling a company, you need to go back to that grind and to that command presence and have that same fire in your gut than you did when you first started your company. So, I'm going to start off here going into a couple of different situations that have really helped me make a huge change in my life when it came to changing the perspective of how I view running a room or running or leading a group of individuals, or making sure that I earn my boss's respect across the board. And it's funny because today we shot a YouTube video exactly about what we're about to talk about. So it's kind of fresh in my mind here. So many people think that command presence is just the way that you look or maybe the way you act. But it truly goes way deeper than that. Command presence has everything to do with what you say, how you say it, and of course, the delivery, okay, is very, very important. So when I talk about how you say it, it's your tonality. It's the conviction in your voice. Many times and I've seen this over and over again in different presentations, where the delivery is weak. What the person is saying makes total sense, but the delivery is weak. There is no confidence or conviction. The tonality is off. And people honestly start biting their nails, start picking their nose, start shifting in their seats, start daydreaming because the person in the room that's doing this presentation does not have that command presence. And I've seen many deals broken that way. So let's start off first and foremost by the way that you conduct yourself. And I believe that a man who walks into a room doesn't have to say a fucking word. Okay, a powerful man, a man of high value. As a matter of fact, I'm very confident in saying that when a man that has power, a man who is confident in his ways and has incredible command presence, when he walks in a room, all heads turn, without a doubt. But, and I say this again, but there's a catch to this. There are two areas. A man could look great, walk into a room, not say a fucking thing, and the second he opens his mouth, he shits on it. You've seen it many times. All right? We've seen that. We've seen it, right? You're like, man, this guy, what he's about to say, let's just hold on for dear life. And the next thing you know, when he opens his mouth, it's like a little whiny bitch, like a little, and you just like hearing this, and it's just breaking your back. Then on the flip side, you have a man that may not look very well, not the part, but when he speaks, people listen. They're like, oh, this guy's smart, there's power behind it, and that's great. However, as a man with a Blitz mentality, as a man with strong command presence, we need to go away from both of those, right? The idea is that you are prepared. This is why parabellum, which is a crucial term that we use, right? Prepare for battle. A man must be prepared wherever he goes, right? And when he walks into this room, all heads turn. He doesn't say a word, but when he speaks, there is power and conviction, and the tonality in his voice, all right, just attracts people. It's almost like this magnetism, right? And you get to that level by practicing often, by sitting in front of a mirror and talking to yourself, by recording. Let me say this little phone right here has a recorder on it, and it's so easy for you just to record how you sound. I'll tell you, there's some times where I record myself and I say, man, I sound like shit. Or other times I record myself and I say, wow, I sounded very strong. There was conviction in my voice. I knew what I was speaking about. And I started really trying to hone myself where when I spoke, it was articulate. Okay, it was intelligent. It was powerful. It was dynamic. All right. Now, on the flip side, I did not want to lose the rawness of the way that I speak. Okay, and that's something that I had to work on because I did not want to sound like a college professor. So I worked hard on the way that I communicate and I transmit a message. But regardless of what my tonality is, and regardless of the things that I say, if I don't know what I'm talking about, if I'm underprepared, you're not going to get that message. That confidence is not going to it's not going to come across as powerful as really if you would be prepared, truly. So practice speaking often. Record yourself. From a point of view of camera, okay, record yourself. You don't have to be looking at the camera. If you're uncomfortable looking at the camera, don't look at the camera. All right, but record yourself. Record yourself speaking. Record yourself with your body actions, right? The way that you stand, the way that you walk, how your shoulders are, how your neck is turned. I know guys, and I'm sure you guys know them too, where they're constantly hunching their shoulders and all you see is the top of their head, right? Become a hard target. When you're walking into a room, right, and I use the term walking into a room, it could be walking into an office, it could be walking anywhere. The goal is that when you are entering an area where people are around, you should have that confidence, right? That sense. Now, let me kind of backtrack a little bit here, so I can break this down. And excuse my my throat. I'm just getting over a cold. So about fuck man, this is about seven years ago. Yeah, about 7 years ago. I had for me it was one of the most powerful times in my life. I walked into a room. I had the head of the ATF, head of FBI, head of Office of Inspector General, head of DEA, head of U.S. Marshals. I had every regional head in this boardroom with me. And my job as the case agent was to sell this big case that we were working on and bring those agencies on in support to my mission. Very few cops get to do this in their lifetime. And to me, that was big, man. You're talking about head honchos across the board. And these guys were counting on me to present this case in a way that they would be, they would be spot on. They would jump on it. And I tell you what, I prepared diligently 2 days before this. But more importantly, the way that I dressed, the way that I walked, the way that I carried myself, the firm handshakes that I gave across the board, the way that I looked at them. One of the guys told me, man, you were focused. Very, very highly focused. And you knew what you were talking about. And the way that you answered the questions, you were calm, you were direct, you were efficient with your answers. And that to me was tremendous feedback because I had worked very, very hard at really building this case. And to present this in a way that we can get these agencies on, it was very, very cool. And it was a great success. I walked out of there. All the agencies hopped on. It was a win-win situation. We built a very powerful international case and so on. However, for me, that was a defining moment, and it really reassured me that what you say is one thing, what you do is another, how you look is another, and how prepared you are is another. They're distinct, but the same. You have to bring them all together. And to me, that's a clear representation of command presence. You can bet your ass that I shined my shoes, that my knot and my tie was perfect. The suit that I was wearing was properly ironed. The pants were properly hemmed. Right? Matching clothes. And simple, basic things like that are not so common in our society. I've interviewed, I don't even know how many people over the last, 3-4 years for positions here and as a Wall Street broker for positions on Wall Street. And I could tell you that a lot of men don't really get that. They don't quite understand it. They think that they want to have the latest fashion trend and come in with a t-shirt or with a unbuttoned shirt and ratty pants and dirty shoes, and they expect people to give them a job. Well, That's not the way that I function, and not the way 99% of the men that I know function. So building a command presence starts from the bottom. And that is a true self-belief, right? Believing in yourself, knowing that wherever you go, you're going to be able to handle yourself. And you're going to be successful at whatever you're presenting or whatever task that you're trying to accomplish, wherever you want to execute that task, right? It's every situation is different, but you must execute. Now, some men will ask me, you know, how how do they train themselves to talk? How do they train themselves to walk a certain way? How do they train themselves, what to say or whatever? Listen, you have to start at the bottom level here. And first and foremost, you have to learn how to walk. Okay? And let me say this. If you walk with your head down, if you walk with your shoulders forward, if you walk like a duck, if you move side to side and wiggle waggle, it's weak, it becomes soft. People just kind of look at you as everybody else. There is no confidence in your strut. Instead, practice walking today a little bit differently. Chest out, shoulders back, eyes forward. Right? You should never be looking down. A man should always be walking with his eyes forward, with purpose, with intent. And as you move, your hands, let them be vibrant. Many times we miss that. We miss the vibrancy in our hands. We just walk around with our shoulders kind of down. Listen, move, feel the stride. One foot after the other, heel toe, right? I mean, you want to be able to step like a natural born leader. Let's not miss that. The walk is important. How you stand. Let me say this very, very clearly. Do not ever lean. Leaning is weakness. When a man leans on something, it shows weakness. Don't do it. When you are presenting, when you are in a boardroom, when you are trying to strike a deal, don't lean. As a matter of fact, if you are sitting on a table, sitting in a table, all right, you're sitting in a chair and you're do not do this. A man should never have his elbows on the table like this. And the reason for that is because it shows weakness. Go back to the old samurai ways. Go back even to the Celtics talk about that. Okay, it should be forearms on the table, not elbows on the table. It should be forearms, right? Back straight. Right? If you don't feel like that lower back is tight, it's solid, then you're slumping. Don't be that guy. Work on your handshake. I can't tell you how many guys clammy handshakes are not good. In our society, we need to have strong handshakes, powerful handshakes. Please, all right, as a man, get strength in your hand. Look another man in the eye. Build that handshake. If you have that Blitz mentality and you're going to go all into whatever it is that you're doing, scaling, building, executing, you must, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again, you must absolutely have a strong handshake that indicates, okay, that you are there, that you are ready. Too many young guys nowadays have these weak-ass, limpy, wimpy fucking handshakes. Let's not do that. Moving forward, preparing yourself. While you may look good and your shoes are shined and you have a great suit, and keep in mind, it doesn't always have to be a suit. I just use that more as a metaphor so you guys understand that dressing in an appropriate environment is very conducive for people to respect you. I don't know if it's a common thing for you guys, but not a common thing in my world. All right. Even though a lot of guys that I know love to go with their golf shorts and their golf polos and just chill and conduct business deals like that, but guys like Dan Pena, guys like, I mean, I can name you 500 guys out there that would be completely against a man wearing shorts during a business deal. All right. So make sure that you are dressed properly. You should be the best dressed guy in the house. I don't care what other people tell you. Well, no, you don't want to outdo the main guy or whatever. No, you are the main guy. You are the head honcho. That's how you need to start thinking. Underdressing should never be part of a man who is ready to take action. You should always be overdressed. And what I mean overdressed, I don't mean you wear a tuxedo to a freaking shorts and t-shirt event. All right, don't be silly. That's not what I'm talking about. I think you guys understand where I'm going. Now, when we talk about preparation, and this is critical, your preparation should not just happen a day before. If you are preparing for life, if you're preparing for the battlefield of business or whatever you're doing, preparation should be ongoing, right? That's part of any man who is stepping up to be a stronger father, husband, leader, right? And that is crucial that you have that set in your mind.